All right. So, Alex, first question I have is what are some early influences that helped shape your songwriting?
I really liked, I mean, one of like the first ones is obviously like the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, the Kinks. Was really big into like 60s stuff for a very long time. And then got really into the Strokes when I was in like high school. And then kind of just a bunch of bands like that, all those bands that were blowing up around like the early 2000s, like the Walkmen, Modest Mouse, Franz Ferdinand, Born Ruffians.
All great choices. Do you remember like at what age you decided to pick an instrument up and which instrument was it?
Yeah, I was in eighth grade and I decided to play drums because I thought they would be fun. And then I think I just got bored, or I think I thought it was maybe too hard. So then I switched to guitar. Um, and then I kind of just never looked back in terms of, I mean, I still play drums occasionally, but I'm not very good at it. I've actually started just having other people play drums on recordings for me now because I admit that I'm not going to be as good as an actual drummer.
But that's cool. So you had an initial interest with percussion first.
Yeah, I saw that movie Drumline, and then I wanted to be in a drumline really bad because that movie makes it look really cool, especially when you're young. And then I got older and was like, I don't want to be in a fucking drumline. Like I think I finally put it together. And I think that was the other reason I quit drums is I was like, I don't want to learn how to play a drum set. I want to learn how to like march with a drum on me and just play like a snare drum. And then I was like, I don't want to do that at all. I want to play songs. So yeah, it's just funny. I feel like in the course of a year, my interests like completely shifted in terms of what I thought was cool and not cool. Also shows how dumb kids are in terms of what they think is the right way to be doing something.
Now, well, yeah, kids are way more easily impressionable. And
Yeah.
wait, is that the movie with Nick Cannon?
Yeah, it's a movie with Nick Cannon and Orlando Jones, and sure there's a bunch of other famous people that I'm forgetting about, but yeah, he's like I forget what the plot even is. I think he's like a it's like a kid from the wrong side of the tracks, I think, and then he gets a scholarship to go to this school, but then he's having like a tough time in this school. And like I always remember the big thing being like the coach found out he couldn't even read music. And then yeah, they just do a bunch of like they do like a bunch of drum battles, which is really funny to picture people in like band getting aggressive over like how serious they're playing snare drum at one another. So yeah, I feel like it's a silly movie to be like that's probably the reason I make music, but it probably definitely is. I feel like there were a bunch of movies around that time. Like you remember that movie You Got Served?
I was just thinking about that one. Yeah,
There's
because
another one where I feel like you saw it and I was like, yeah, maybe I could be a fucking break dancer and just battle a bunch of other people in like a sweaty gym. I don't know why that seemed like cool to young kids at the time, but it was.
what I'm blanking out on the other movies that were like that. Like You Got Served. It was like aggressive dance battle type movies, and there was like sequels to it. I
Yeah,
remember.
there was a sequel to that one. Then they had that whole You Got not You Got Served, that's the one. Stomp or Step Up.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Step up, step up.
Step
Yeah.
Up was another big one where it was like aggressive dance fighting. And yeah, now thinking about it, you're like, why was this like sweeping the nation? Specifically like the youth, but I don't know. People love choreographed movements, I guess.
If you're into stand-up comedy, one of my favorites is Rory Scovel,
Yeah, it's
and
amazing.
dude, that guy, I love him. He has a bit where he makes fun of what is it? Step Up, and he's like, you can't go to those movies and not be under the influence of something. You know, who's gonna go to that sober? And it's
Yeah.
like the whole plot of it is pretty much like people looking down alleyways. It's like, hey, you guys break dancing down here?
No, yeah, it's insane. I mean, I guess it makes sense though. The 80s had like not Flashdance. What's that movie with like Kevin Bacon and the town, the town is like outlaw
Oh,
dancing. Is it Footloose?
Footloose? Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm gonna dance anyway. Yeah, it's a very funny thing of like kids just having like probably a bunch of like pent up like emotions, and they're just like, yeah, Kevin Bacon dancing with his sleeves rolled up. This is how I feel. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I don't know why that
Relatable.
happens. It's relatable. Yeah, when you're young, you're like, that's right.
Um, so I was going, you know, through your through like your releases, and I was wondering, were you in a band called Turkey Shoot?
Yeah. So now you're doing like a Nardwar thing. Yeah, I was. Yeah, that was a band I made in high school, like senior year of high school, and then it pretty quickly went defunct. But it was just fun to play in. Made music with like other people instead of just myself, which was a fun way to start making music.
And did you play drums on that one or?
No, this person, Brendan McCabe, played drums on all those songs. I just played guitar. At first, we would do the thing where we would like switch between guitar and bass. And then the bassist who like had played, who was like my good friend in high school, he left. Another person came in. We tried to do that like once, and he was like, "We don't want to be one of those bands. That's like lame to be like, ooh, and they play different instruments." And then he said it like that, and I was like, "Damn, it's good to have those kind of optics and think about things like that." Where like, yeah, some people do think that's cool, but I pretty quickly like jumped ship and was like, I agree, I do think it's lame. Just like be good at your instrument or like whatever the song calls for, just play your instrument for it. You don't need to do this thing of like, well, he wrote this one, so he plays it on guitar and I take up the bass.
It's like I agree with you, and at the same time, there's some bands that pull it off. I don't know if you've heard of this band called Harlem.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not that it's like lame, especially live. I mean, I think his thing was more that like you just don't need to do it live. I think he was like, however we write the songs, we write them that way. But then
Yeah, it's like I guess not inconsistent, but it can clash. It can
it just
definitely.
seems like people do it as like his whole thing was just like it seems like a gimmick of like you're just trying to like show the audience that you know how to play more than one instrument. It's like very like young person like trying to impress people with like just be good at the songs that you're playing and then people will be impressed ideally.
I hear you. Yeah, but
Oh,
I
Harlem's
was
great. They used to switch instruments all the time. I thought that that one dude who played bass was their straight up bassist. Also, this is they should have been a band that I mentioned earlier. They were very, very, very influential. There used to be this one, I can't remember. I think it was that song. I can't remember if it was called On Fire or I'm on Fire, but they had like a live performance of it in like a gym. And I just remember seeing the drum set that they played. And I think it was like this old, like refurbished, or just like, I think it was just like this old, like marching bass drum that he had set up as like his bass drum. I think I also used to, yeah, I used to play drums along to their songs all the time. Friendly Ghost was a huge one for learning drums and drum parts and how to write drum parts.
I'm gonna ask him about that drum kit because it's so notorious. Well, that bass drum in
Yeah,
particular, I call it the bass drum of death. It just looks wild. So I
no, it's
gotta ask
insane. I
him.
wonder if they still use it.
I saw them maybe like 7 years ago. But this was maybe like 2017, 2018. Like they had a short run of reunion shows because they were like on hiatus for like almost a decade.
Hmm.
Uh, so I was like, oh, dude, I gotta go see them. I went to go see them with a buddy of mine, and um, yeah, it was crazy. I did see the bass drum there.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, nice. Are they from Texas?
I think they're from Arizona, but then they relocated to Austin, and they were there for like a good while. When they put out their two albums, I'm pretty sure they were like in Austin.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, they were great. Do you know that band, the Strange Boys?
I met them. Yeah, I met them.
Oh, really?
I've
Yeah.
I've seen them twice. They used to before the pandemic have like all day music festivals yearly, and they
Hmm.
came. The first time I saw them was at a coffee shop, and then the second time was at one of those festivals. I also saw Mac DeMarco too at one of them.
Mm. Yeah, Strange Boys are another band. They're hugely influential. I should have named them too. That guy's like singing style. I think his name's Ryan Samble.
Like Dylanish.
Yes, and just like very like kind of not afraid to be like nasally and like brash. And I think I stole a lot from him in terms of singing style.
Satan's Hands, was that the first release? No, I'm sorry. Was that um the third release that you guys put out under Sexy Girls?
Yeah, I would say that's actually like the first one. I think anything I did previous to that was just like a young person who didn't even know if they could honestly make music. Just no one in my family really does it. So I think on a lot of it was just being like, I don't think I can write lyrics. I don't think, and honestly, a lot of those songs I listen back to and I'm like, I shouldn't have said that, or like, that's a stupid thing to say, or like, I don't know. But I think Satan's Hands is maybe the first one that and that was like 2 years after some of those other ones had come out. And I'm not even really that proud of that one. So I think I still listen to it and like not so good. But I know people seem to like it, so that's nice.
And well, I know for the previous ones, you recorded most of the instruments yourself.
Hmm.
Was such the case with Satan's Hands, or did you have other people,
No,
recording with you?
I recorded it with this person Ben Sameta in Waltham, Massachusetts. He was just somebody I met at a show. He plays in a band called Black Beach, and we had both played this pay to play show at All Asia in Cambridge, and we just like talked outside. I told him that we had covered. He it was. Have you ever been to a pay to play show?
No.
They're fucking horrible, so you shouldn't have. But if you were dumb enough to play one back in the day, what they would do is they would book like 12 bands. None of the bands sound the same. None of it, there's no cohesive like thread for the night at all. And the thing is like you would get handed a bunch of tickets and they'd be like, all right, sell these tickets. And if you sell these tickets, potentially you make some money. Um, but yeah, there's like, no, you're probably not going to have a crowd. It's just a really stupid system. Um, we had both played one of those, didn't see each other's sets, but started like talking outside. And I've been like, hey, we like covered a Black Lips song, and I was like, told him that, and he was like, "That's cool. I love the Black Lips." And then I gave him like a shitty demo, and he was like, "I like this." And then he was like, "By the way, I do engineering." And then he was like, "I'd love if you have like anything to record it next time you do something." So hit him up that album. It was like it would be fun to actually do a full length album for the first time ever. And again, kind of just being like, I don't know if I can actually do it, and then did it, and I feel like he did a good job.
He sure did. I mean, I really liked Night Terrors at the Beach Alone. And okay, so that one, it it made me wonder as I was listening to it, like these references to zombies, ghosts, and skeletons like throughout your body of work. It makes me like wonder, are you like into horror movies?
Yeah, that's a fair
Or like,
assumption.
I know it's like a random question, but just yeah, I
No, it
was
makes
like,
sense with the things I'm referencing. Yeah, I'm into horror movies. Not like one of those people that will watch like shitty ones just to watch them. They've got to be like good. But yeah, I do like them. I think I'm just fascinated. I think it's like a preoccupation with like death. I think is more like I think what's happening all the time is being like, it's gonna die someday. Just thinking that since the moment I was like 11, I think.
any horror movie favorites?
Yeah, there's this one called The Wailing that I really like. It's a South Korean movie. I Saw the Devil, also a South Korean movie. It's gonna be a
That's a
thread.
good one.
It's a good one, right? Sure, there's a Jaws. classic, which I would categorize that as a horror movie. It's pretty fucking brutal to watch even when you're older. Um, yeah, there's a bunch. Just any of them that are good. Get Out. It's great.
Which one was it? Did you ever see Us?
I did. I liked it less than Get Out, which I think was the overall consensus. But I still thought it was still better than Nope. I think Nope has been like his weakest one.
Yeah. No, the reason I brought up Us was because I get real nerdy when I really like some horror directors, and Jordan Peele is one of them. Even though Nope was kind of me.
Hmm.
Uh, I saw that in Us, he does kind of like a homage to Jaws in like the beach scenes.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Um, and I also like Kron song, and that one had me wondering, yo, who is Kron? Because there's two songs referencing that that name.
Oh, again, I don't know. That's I feel like these things never have like the answer people want. I think it's just a stupid throwaway name. I was reading that book, The Invisible Man, and I think, but the Ralph Ellison one, not the H.G. Wells one. And there's a character in there who like gradually I think is becoming like crazier and crazier as time progresses. And I think at some point he like shows up and he calls himself like something the Conqueror or maybe the Destroyer. And I thought that that was like a cool thing. So I just, I kind of borrowed the concept and then just made up a name like Kron. I was just trying to think of like it's almost like Kang or like trying to just think of like what sounds like a fictional bad person.
Huh, okay. And so that one came out in 2014, but
Hmm.
you re-released it under Spirit Goes in 2017.
Yeah.
So I was wondering what led you to the name change to Spirit Goes.
It's like things that you kind of just made when you were younger, trying to see if you could even make something, and then having any kind of distance from it and being like, I don't want to be fucking associated with this, or like, I don't even really know what the fuck I'm trying to say or talking about or what. So I think I just made that name. It was like, I'll run with this. I think I was like, it's funny because it's pluralized. I'm a single male making the songs. Um, and then yeah, there was like a little bit more conceptualization behind it, but pretty quickly I feel like people were like, this isn't totally cool, you shouldn't be doing this. And then I was just like, yeah, I don't really, it's not like a hill I'm trying to die on. I agree with you. Also, I think I was like, it's not the greatest name, I can probably do better. And then I think I changed it and some people were like, great. And then some people were like, nothing was wrong with the other name, you should have kept it. And I was like, this it's not helping. I just want to fucking make the music, I don't really give a shit what it's called.
Man, when I saw your name, it's Alex Whitelaw.
Mhm.
I was like, it'd be sick. It was like Alex Whiteclaw.
Yes, I get that a lot now, ever since that drink became so popular with the youth.
Um, I really liked Blood in the Sun and Cult King from your self-titled.
Oh, nice.
And that one, it came out 2016, I believe.
Yes, it came out, I think, before I did the re-release of that was like the first, like, here's the new name.
Do you have any songs in that self-titled that you're proud of?
Yeah, I would say the second the name changed, I started to be like I actually felt like I knew what I wanted and kind of more what I wanted to say, I guess. I think I'm pretty proud of all those songs. I don't think there's like one that I'm like, that one sucks. I think I'll always wish some of them had been like recorded slightly differently, but like when I play them live, I think I'm always like, yeah, this is roughly right on the nose for like what I think I wish I had been able to make when I first started out.
There's this kind of reoccurring um thing that that I like talking about with some of the guests, where they they make, and yourself included in this, is you make upbeat music, but there's these lyrics that kind of talk about like impending doom, or like just kind of less, it sounds less brighter than the
And the
sounds that
music
are
would
being
have you
provided.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think I just like the juxtaposition of that. Like it feels too like maybe it feels too theatrical when the content matches the form a little too much. I just think the juxtaposition of the two is always nice. A band that, and again, I think one of like my biggest influences was Born Ruffians when I was younger. And he was like a master of doing that, where you would listen to the song, you couldn't ever quite make out what he was saying, but then when you actually like heard the lyrics and then like listened to the music, you'd be like, oh, this is incredibly depressing. But it's like, again, it's like almost played with like sadistical, like upbeat delivery. But yeah,
Like
pretty
played with heart, but the songs are heartless.
something like, yeah, yeah, something like that. I don't know. I again, yeah, I think it just seems too on the nose. If you're like, I'm sad, here's the sad chord. It's just like, I don't know. It's that being said, sometimes I hear those songs and I'm like, oh, it's fucking genius. How'd they think to do that? Then I'm like, oh, you idiot. Just stop working against it all the time.
No, but it's a cool style, and one that I, dig as well when it's executed correctly, and
Mhm.
like someone that I will always think of an example, even though I'm not like super into them, is the Smiths. That's kind of like a classic example of the juxtaposition thing.
Yeah, actually, that's funny. I almost would characterize them in like the tonally sad one with sad lyrics, but you're right. They definitely do like it will be like This Charming Man or like some other song is like pretty upbeat, but then yeah, you're like talking about like dying in a car accident or like whatever
Or
else he's singing about.
or that other one, what is it? Panic
Yeah,
is like talking about murdering a DJ.
right. Yeah, pretty violent. Uh, yeah, the Smiths are great. Makes sense they'd be good at it. I guess that's why people like them.
And um, Kicking Gravestones, that one as well, um, came out as Sexy Girls, but re-released later on under Spirit Ghost. Um, Originally in 2015, came out in re-released 2016. But this one, I noticed when it was re-released, it had the additional outro track "Get On Up."
Hmm. Yeah, that. So I guess maybe I lied. I think literally just anything post that first album, I think I'm relatively proud of. I still think that EP Kicking Gravestones is not great, but I definitely think it's better than. Yeah, I think if I could go back and erase those other things, maybe not Satan's Hands because I think people like it, but everything before that and just have it start at like Kicking Gravestones, I'd be much happier with the output that I've had.
It's another thing that I've touched on as well, of like, artists, myself included, like, because I've made music where I kind of cringe at it looking back at it later. I'm like, come on, man, what were you doing?
Right.
But that's like the curse and the gift part of it. It's like at least you're gifted enough to, you know, broadcast and show your talents in a way that's creative and positive, but we're harsh on ourselves, and we're always gonna nitpick at our little like flaws, or
I mean, I will
um
say it is nice to have like tangible milestones to be like, thankfully, I think I'm doing this. I don't think I'm going backwards. So that's always nice to be like, if you just keep trying and hammering at it, you'll just like eventually get better if it's what you're doing. So I think it's nice to have these things to kind of touch back to and be like, that sucks. That's kind of better. I'm actually proud of this one. But obviously, I was still very young. But then, yeah, because again, I think some of those earlier songs, I think I was writing them when I was like 17, 16. So it's like, yeah, of course, I'm 32 now. It'd be bizarre if I looked back at them and was like, this kid had some perspective. Like it wouldn't make any sense.
Um, so that one I really like Broken Glass Kids and well the self-titled Kicking Gravestones.
Mm, yeah, those were super fun.
And so something I noticed, like a little observation of I noticed Sexy Girls and Spirit Girls, they can both be abbreviated as SG. That's
Hmm.
the fun coincidence.
It was just a happy accident. No, again, cannot stress enough how little I care about band names. Just pick one and make music. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, honestly, I I hate to overthink things like that, but I don't know. There's just something about I guess not wanting to cringe at like a project name is what
Yeah, but that's the stupid thing is like what one person might like. I think this is where you can get in a trap of being in your own head. Is it's just like nobody, I think, would have thought King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard was a good band name unless the band fucking ripped. Or, I mean, I just heard this band the other day, but that band Psychedelic Porn Crumpets, that's also like a stupid fucking name. But they just, I mean, I don't like that band, but I think a lot of people seem to. So I'm like, doesn't really. I would even say you have a bunch of Beatles posters, and I would say
I
at
was
this point in time, if somebody was like, "We're the Beatles," you'd be like, "You're an idiot." You wouldn't be like, "Great band name, man. That totally works." So that's where I'm like, yeah, it can be pretty. We can't all be Deer Hunter or some of these other bands that have really cool names that I think everybody can just be like, "Whoa, wish I had thought of that." The Strokes.
another crappy name is like Hoobastank, but I like I
Right.
like I like some of their songs.
Uh, I would say even Modest Mouse is like a pretty stupid band name. Like I just think any band name when you decontextualize it is obviously idiotic. It's just it it doesn't matter until they like actually make good music that I think you can be like, I think they knew what they were doing all along. It's like, no, they didn't. They just picked a name and just stuck with it.
Like let the music speak for itself type of thing.
Kinda. I just yeah, I think it's one of those things of like I do like graphic design now, so I have to sometimes think about like marketing stuff. But it's just one of those things that I think with band stuff, like you can't get so, especially if you're like a DIY artist or again, somebody who doesn't come from like a musical family or anything, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot before you even get started. Like just make shit, throw shit at the wall, see what sticks. You're going to make a lot of horrible stuff that you regret, that you wish you had never released. And then eventually you'll just like kind of fucking chunk your way through it and get, I don't know.
Like a needle in a haystack thing. You gotta make like a bunch of crap, but find that little nugget of gold in it.
Right. And again, it always feels stupid saying this because I'm like, I'm not really, no one really knows about me. But again, it's just that funny thing of being like, you go from somebody being like, yeah, that person fucking sucks at singing to now being like, I think every now and again I'll get like a compliment on my voice or people being like, you have like a style. And it's like, yeah, you don't get there if you like overthink every little fucking thing. You just gotta blast through it and be like, all right, I wrote a stupid song. Here it is.
Yeah. I mean, music is like the main subjective thing, the main subjective art form, I'd say. So one
Yeah.
person's gonna hate on it, someone else is gonna love it, but he's got to roll with it anyway. As long as you're being true to yourself, who really cares?
Yeah, exactly.
So Skeleton Surfrider, that one I've been liking a lot. Is that one that you are fond of?
That's the one I love. Yeah, that's the one again where if I could be like erase all the other shit, not that proud of it. Some of it I just straight up regret, wish I had never released. Was a delight recording it. I did it with the person who plays bass for me now, Joey DeStasio, in New Hampshire. It was like perfect. Went for 4 days, tracked everything. he had it mixed in like 4 weeks, maybe. I might even be overestimating that. And then he had it sent back to me, and then it was released like 4 months later. And I was like, that's the timeline that you want to like keep. And then yeah, I feel like at that point I was writing songs that I was actually like, I think I know what to say now. I'm not just writing like stupid, shitty, like snide songs about like love gone wrong or something. I was like, I think I'm actually starting to sing about like personal stuff and know what it is that like I actually feel and want to sing about. So yeah, I think that would be the album that I would always point people to first if I was like, if you think those other dumb fucking things are good, you should listen to that one instead.
A good entry level for Spirit Ghosts.
Yeah,
So I have some standouts here that I really enjoyed. Covered in You,
sure.
Darkness is Winning, Undone, He Can Stay, and Don't Know Anyone. Feel
Nice.
free to feel free to share anything on any of those.
That's good. You like He Can Stay. I think that's the one. As I was recording it, the person recording me was like, "You sure this song isn't too long?" And I was like, "No, the song's not too long." And then I listened to it. It's the one I skip every time now because I'm like, "This song's too fucking long." Um, what were some of the other ones you said? Yeah, Darkness is Winning is one of those ones where again, it's like it was like a eureka moment of being like, oh, I can sing about like my actual familial like relationships and like how I see myself and my like family structure and all these things that I think before I just like had been like, I don't really know what to sing about. I'll just like make shit up um, and hope that it makes sense. But yeah, I think that actually felt like a cathartic like release of being like, okay, this is okay to sing about and I can fit it into this structure. Um, yeah. What other ones did you say? Covered in You.
Mm-hmm.
Covered in You. Covered in You is kind of just I think it's an actual good take on I think what I would have like tried to cover in earlier songs. And again, I think this is why I would always point people to this album instead of being like, that's how you sing about like getting cheated on and like the shitty feelings that you feel and like how maybe you know they're not okay, but you're just fucking so irritated or like again hurt, mad, whatever you want to fucking say of just being like, yeah, I don't really give a shit about being like an asshole because, but in like a nuanced way of like, yeah, the shit fucking blows. Being cheated on sucks.
Damn.
What other ones? What other ones did you say?
Undone and Don't Know Anyone.
Done, undone. Another one of yeah. Again, the whole thing of a nuanced take on like a relationship ending and being like, yeah, you can have all these fucking plans and be like, this is going to be so great. And being like, I don't know if this person, you just are always taking people at face value or like, yeah, trust. And then being like, I don't know, this could all go to shit like tomorrow. Somebody could wake up and be like, nah, I'm not feeling this anymore. So it is just kind of a funny thing of being like, yeah, as much as you're like, I love this person, I love this person, I love this person, it can just go belly up. Um, which again, they're still young and like overly emotional songs. I think I do hear some of those songs sometimes. And again, I'm like, calm down, guy. Fucking 20, 24. You don't really like, you can stay with that person your whole life. Um, and then what was the other one?
Don't Know Anyone.
Yeah, again, don't know anyone. I feel like just a better version of songs I would have tried to do in the past of just being like, yeah, that feels like a good take on it. Again, of being like thinking you know somebody and being like, oh, I don't actually, you never really know people that well. I think I was maybe more cynical on that album, I guess, but in like a, again, in a smarter way. I think a more mature way.
Gotcha. I saw
Awesome.
also you released a few singles in the years to come after that. Yeah, it was Mad Demon, Love Me, Runaway, and If Only, all released within 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Real busy guy.
Yeah, I did those and the album that came after were like a culmination of the time in Austin and the time before Austin. So yeah, that's basically what happened. So I had, I mean, really, I had like 5 years to write them, or 3 years, I guess. And then, yeah, I don't know. That was just like a practice of just trying to write some good songs and release them quickly because I was like, oh, it's been like a while since I've released an album. Should probably get something out.
I saw the video for Love Me. That's the one where you're wearing like a red outfit.
Mhm.
Was that one shot in Austin or somewhere
Yeah,
else?
that's all shot at is it Zilker Park? I think Zilker Park. I shot a bunch of videos over in Zilker Park actually. Or not Zilker Park. I don't it's the Green Trail, whatever that forget what it is. I used to just go there and walk. It's like near Barton Springs. You can get to like this trail. I would just shoot music videos there all the time because I feel like the woods are cool.
I'm talking with a girl from Austin. I'll try to like go back to this part and see if she's familiar with that area. Just
Sure.
naturally curious.
It's near Zilker Park. It's over in South Austin. And yeah, I'm
Awesome.
sure anybody listening to this from Austin will be like, it's this, you fucking, or yeah, I've already said it.
And good night, good morning. That's the one I told you I got a little familiar with Brother Sports.
Mm-hmm.
That one was released in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
and that one I really enjoyed. Won't see you again.
Yeah, that was all Anthony from Brother Sports. I think he might have given me all the lyrics for that even. No, I think I wrote my verse, but they had already written that song pretty much entirely. He had like a whole reason that he was making it, and then it was just really special to work on that song together with him specifically. Somebody I really admire, all of the people in Brother Sports. Um, so yeah, being able to work with him and Isak, who did album artwork for me later, was just really, really nice because again, I was a huge fan of their music and I was very honored that they seemed to like Skeleton Surfrider and that we just kind of hit it off once we met in Austin. Yeah, so I was pumped about those songs. They came out very good, I think, and mostly that is because of them.
Melting right before your eyes. That one came out last year in early March. That one I've been listening to quite a bit, and it's been really growing on me.
Oh, good.
Makes me sick. I love the keyboard and the lyrics on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Got a feeling. I I love how it's like fun, energetic, garage surfy vibe,
Mm-hmm.
and really like the riffs on Shook Up, and really like Crush as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that album, again, another one that I would point people to and be like, that's the one to listen to. Um, Maybe one of the first albums where I'm like actually very proud of the production value and will be proud of it, I think forever, hopefully, knock on wood. Um, the engineer who worked on it did a bunch of Brother Sports stuff, and that's how I found him. And then I just really liked everything that he did. And then again, that was just like a culmination. I think I wrote that song Got a Feeling before I moved to Austin. So I didn't actually record it for like 6 years, but we had played it live like a bunch. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Just really proud of that album. I always wish it got more attention, but I feel like it kind of just got like swallowed up after it was released. But who knows? I feel like people come to things later. That's what happened with Satan's Hands.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I'm always late to the party. Like
Hmm.
I barely got put on tier stuff this year, but quickly was just like, oh wow, this is great stuff.
Hmm.
And was also gonna mention that I've been trying to use my Walkman more. I've been trying to get back into tapes, and that one I saw you guys did like a run of tapes, but sold
Hmm.
out. So I'm gonna keep my eye out for like a rerun.
When we do the restock.
Hopefully, if you do.
Yeah, we probably will. I mean I have them. I just every now and again I'll take them off the store because we'll have like a run of shows coming up. and I'll be like, one, I don't have time to run to the post office, and I don't like when orders sit for way too long. And then two, I always like to make sure that we at least have some that I can sell on the road because it's nice when I don't have to pay shipping or go to the post office.
Yo, that just reminded me. I forgot to congratulate you on getting, put on that booking roster I saw earlier.
Thanks. I'm stoked. It's my first time doing something like that. But yeah, I think I was done doing it myself. So I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, that's another good milestone to be proud of.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, and then the Line by Line single also came out last year. I
Hmm.
really like that one. I'm a sucker for like anything with acoustic, but that's kind of front and center. And
Hmm.
that one does it pretty well.
Yeah, I agree. Uh, I like that song. I think after releasing Melting, I guess okay, only because we talked about the other album so much. I feel like I want to go into. So this is going to come out on a podcast. Also, I was completely unaware of like what the format's going to be, or is it like a written interview?
What do you mean?
Are you going to like write this up, or is it just going to be like a podcast, like
Oh,
recorded and then released?
oh man, I barely have time as it is to edit stuff, but no, it's just gonna be like a video. Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Um, yeah. So the thing is, with Melting Right Before Your Eyes, that was the first album that we had been like, okay, let's try to do it all right, where like you record the album, make sure it sounds really good, pay to make sure it sounds really good, which we still got like a bargain on that part. Um, and then have like music videos, the works, right? And then pitch to labels, pitch to PR companies, and see if like anybody wants to grab you. And it was like maybe like 2 years of doing that. And at the end of it, just being so fucking frustrated with how stupid this like whole system is of being like, please sign me to your label so I can give you some of the money from like this record, like it, even though you
Uh,
had nothing to do with how it sounds. And then same thing with PR of being like, please let me pay you money so you can send emails to people. So it was just like this complete frustration on top of like this like big achievement of feeling like this sounds really good. We're very proud of it. And then I think after all of that happened, basically the reason Line by Line came about so quickly after was I just had like a complete like break from that side of it and was like, I just want to go back to doing it like I used to, which is just fucking write, record, release, write, record, release. I don't ever want to get caught up in like this stupid cycle of people being like, wait, but you got to wait till this time, or yeah, maybe we're interested, but can you pay us like 5 grand a month, which like no fucking independent band should be able to pay a PR person 5 grand a month. And then yeah, so it was just like this disgustedness at this whole fucking stupid system. And then I don't know. Again, I went back to the person because I moved from Austin. I would have kept recording with Connor otherwise, who did Melting Right Before Your Eyes. But because I moved back to Boston or like the Massachusetts area, I was able to use the person who did Skeleton Surfrider. He had gotten way, way better at engineering. And yeah, I feel like that song was kind of like not like a test run in that I was testing him, but kind of just being like, will I be happy with the result? Does this feel good? And then I feel like, yeah, did it all really fast and was like, oh, that feels amazing. I like forgot how good it feels to just like not be told, like, just not have a bunch of red tape in the way of just, again, it just makes it like not fun anymore, where you're just like, I do this because it's fun. I don't really like make a living at it. So I don't want to like, I don't know, get caught up in all that dumb stuff.
it was liberating, like no chains.
Yes, exactly. Liberating, no chains, getting to feel like, all right, do what you want. Don't have to wait. Don't have to impress anybody with this. Which I think that was the other thing is I kept feeling like I was like just putting all this pressure on it to try to impress people. And now just being like, yeah, I don't care. If you don't like it, that's fine.
And now I'm curious, were any of these emotions that you just shared like kind of projected into your lyrics as well? Or was it just completely like about something else?
No, again, I think I'm only ever like loosely holding ideas in my head. I think that's when I can write like the best. I think whenever I try to talk too specifically about something in lyrics, I tend to hate them. So line by line, I think I started off like, I think at first it was about like my dad, and then I think it was about like uh, just some other stuff where I think, yeah. And then it morphed into like a bunch of different things because I just like found stuff while I was writing it that I was like, oh, I want to sing about that too. So,
Mm.
but no,
Cool,
not so
man.
much the aggravation or the frustration with like that part of it. Again, I think most of the time when I'm writing and like I write a song that I'm happy with, I'm just happy. So I don't really ever write like, I guess, angry lyrics, even though sometimes I feel like they're delivered angrily. I'm never really like
I would
angry
say
at a
more it's
song.
like playful. It's like playful.
Pretty playful. Yeah, I mean, biting. I feel like I try to like, I feel like sometimes I write some pretty stinging stuff, I guess, at this point. Again, I feel like I've actually gotten somewhat okay at it now. But yeah.
It's all up for interpretation, you know.
Yeah. And that's that's the other thing is I'll probably mean something one way and somebody will interpret it a completely different way. And that's just out of my control. So it's not worth thinking about it too much. Just like the band name.
Exactly. Yeah, but Dumb Eye is another one that I'm like, wow, really like the single, the acoustic on that single, and
Hmm.
that one was your latest one that came out earlier this year.
Yeah. And again, that one was kind of still in the spirit of the other one of just being like, I've got some songs. It's really easy for me to go and record and release now. So like I think the other thing too is I'm back to playing almost everything other than the drums. Which again, it's just another thing of being like, yeah, getting encumbrances out of the way of like, what days can you do this? Can you meet me on this day? All of a sudden, like just recording a single becomes like a 6 month fucking process. And I think I don't have the patience for it. I started the band because I didn't have the patience to like wait for people to like make stuff. So it's just really nice to be back in this flow of like, do I have time? Yes. Okay. I wrote a song. Let's record it. And if the engineer has time, it's done. And also my drummer lives with the engineer. So it's all just like it all started just like syncing back up again, where I was like, nice, this is all really working.
I like that attitude.
And that song I think is just about me. That's a personal critique. I think I have dumb eyes. So that's always a yeah, that's just how I view myself.
Pretty angsty. It's like again one of those juxtaposition where like it sounds melodic and easy listen, but at the same time you got like some cuss words in there thrown in there that just made me think, damn, this dude was feeling a little spicy.
Yeah, I think there's like this perfect blend that I always want to try to hit of like I think that song I really like that song. It's because it does like a thing of incorporating like jazz chords, certain elements that like you're saying are more melodic, but being like there's nothing that says a fucking punk song can't be melodic. Like I think, you know, mixing those a little bit more. Again, it could sound really stupid, but I think yeah, every now and again you're just like, nice, I did it. I did at least what I wanted to do, which I think is huge for me. And also I think something like King Cool does that kind of shit all the time. I think people are doing that stuff all the time now. So definitely
Hmm.
not super original, but
Oh, that's a great point though. Like, why can't punk energy type songs be melodic? I mean, yeah, a lot of artists have and carry that sound pretty well, and I think you
yeah.
did a great job at that.
I mean, all my favorite punk artists are pretty melodic, like Television or Wire. I feel like I mean, they don't sing like I don't know, like Adele, but but they definitely don't just like shout.
Yeah.
But I also like when people just shout. I don't know. Music is cool.
So yeah, the last thing I wanted to do was that ranking list, but it's also just songs that I'm really digging at this particular time, and it's I like to say it's like a dream set list that I would, if I ever caught one of your shows, would be dope to see you performing all these songs.
Mhm.
And
This is
for
good
these,
research.
yeah. Uh-huh.
This is good research. We're about to go on tour. It'd be good to know what somebody's dream set list is.
And for these, yes, I would really like as I go one by one, if you could share a fun fact or like just a memory that you like from that particular recording.
Okay. Oh, damn. I fucked up. I was doing that the whole time. I thought that was the point. All right, go ahead.
Okay, number 10, Skeleton Surf Rider. That one I was listening to yesterday, and all I put was, "This is a jam."
Oh, good. Nice. That's another one where I think somebody was like, "Hey, are you sure you want the intro to be that long?" And I was like, "Dude, trust me, it's sick." And, and I feel like I listened to it now and I'm like, "Oh yeah." Bass probably could have came in a little sooner. Lyrics probably could have came, but and that's just structure stuff. No, I mean, I'm really proud of that song. That's again another one of those ones where I'm like, I kind of like that the depressingness of like the melody matches kind of the lyrics. So it doesn't always have to be juxtaposed. I like that song though. It's better live. I will say that. I feel like I listen to it recorded now after we've played it live so much. I'm like, ooh, this is much more powerful, those instrumental sections when we do it live.
Oh man. And to start off a show like that would be so sick.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we always threw it in the middle of sets, but probably, yeah, starting off a show, just guitar, and then have like drums and bass come in at the same time. That'd be pretty dope. All right, keep going. This is giving me good ideas.
So this one, again, I'm not a music journalist. I never will ever claim to be one. This one I simply put number 9, Dumb Eyed goes dumb. Dumb in the best way possible.
Amide. Yeah, we've been trying to play that one live. The trick with that one is, and this is the fucking annoying thing about recording stuff versus live. I think we pull it off pretty good, but we just don't have an organ player when we play live, and a lot of that song is based on that organ line. Our guitarist does it on guitar, and it sounds again, it sounds good, it's passable. I think it's a tough song to pull off live. I don't know why. We've almost done it as like an easy listening song, where I've instead tried to like maybe sing it more, but I don't know. We'll come back to it.
Number 8 is Good Night.
Yeah, that one's great. Trying to remember. Oh yeah, Good Night is I know that's the Brother Sports one, but that's the one I like the most from that whole EP. I feel like that's the one that I had like a verse that I was proudest of. I like the outro thing. Again, I think it was really fun working with Brother Sports. There was a moment where I think I made them mad because I was like, I don't even know if I want to do this because I was getting self-conscious about my parts because everything they were doing was so good. But yeah, thankfully they were like, don't be dumb. And then I feel like I love those songs now. And yeah, I keep trying to organize something where I can come back to Austin and we can play those songs live because I feel like it would be really, really fun, especially now that they're playing again.
Man, I'll try to keep an eye out for that so I can try to make it out, dude. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I gotta talk to the booking agent, see if they can do it.
Number 7, If Only.
Yes, that one's great. Good choice. Um, we started playing that one live again. Again, that's one I wish it was recorded slightly differently. I think we do it much better now. And again, right when I wrote that song, I think I was like, fuck yeah. I wanted to write an Everly Brothers style song, and I think I did it.
Everly Brothers. 6 was Satan's Hands. And this one, you know, we touched on this a little bit that everyone has a different interpretation on music and all that. So this one I was just like, you know, I like this title uh because for me it's like a play on the saying it's in God's hands, you know. It's like, oh,
Mm,
this is in Satan's hands.
mm.
That's my little, I guess, interpretation, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great. The big thing that always comes up with that one will be people seem to never know if I'm saying middle or meadow. And at this point, it's again, it's one of those things that it's just fun to keep not telling people which one I'm actually saying. Um, but again, yeah, actually, that is one of the only ones from that album that I do like because, yeah, I I don't know. I think a weird thing has happened though, where I think people have started assuming because I incorporate so many religious references that I am religious, and I think I'm not at all. Um, and yeah, that one just all about, you know, I think the reality of the situation is people will always act like, oh, if somebody came and like made this deal with you, you would never do it. And it's like, oh, most people would. I feel like, I don't know, if you grew up poor and somebody was like, hey, uh, give me your soul and I'll make you not poor. I don't know. That was always my thing with it, was being like, I think people are pretty fucking self-righteous when it comes to this stuff. I'd fucking consider it. I'd be like, if my mom and dad could not work so hard, why not? You know?
I mean, that's just normal, I think, you know.
I think so too. But again, yeah, I feel like I'll have those conversations. It's like the whole like I'd always
What
tell
if?
people about like if you could live forever, would you? And people would be like, no, you'd miss people. And I'd be like, I don't think you understand the concept of forever. If you live forever, you're just gonna like like you get over any trauma. The only reason you wouldn't is because you wouldn't live forever. So like if you had unlimited time to like, I don't know, just one of those things.
It's like a double-edged topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry
Uh
for too long on taking
num
sides. Keep going.
Number 5 was Kron the Destroyer.
Yeah, it's a big one I know people like. That's one I
The
hate.
lyrics are just so good, man.
Yeah, yes, they're fine. They're fine. The lyrics are totally fine. I think I just don't like the delivery, or yeah, maybe I just think it could have been recorded better. I hate the solo. There's just a, but yes, that's good. I'm glad people, glad people like that song. I think I did like it at the time, so I do get it. I'm not a fool, but yeah, it's not. I don't listen to it now.
Number 4 is Falling.
Yeah, I like that one. I don't. Am I just supposed to be agreeing with you? Sometimes I don't know. I just feel like I keep being like, yeah, I am good. Um, no, I like Falling. That one's great. Again, it's like Darkness is Winning. Feel like I was actually able to like open up about like familial stuff and like my relationships with like my mom, sister. Kind of honestly, I don't even really remember what the fuck I say in that song, but I think it's good.
Number 3 is Easy as It Gets.
Um, that one I'm super proud of. That one felt like a very good again, whenever I'm writing stuff, it's usually like I'm going to try to rip this song off. And then if I do it successfully, that's when I'm like, you did it, buddy. Even though it's not that creative or new, but it just feels good to write like a duet. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I again, I like shouting. I like singing like a fucking maniac, but also sometimes just like to fucking croon, belt out a Frank Sinatra style number.
Oh, were you trying to like borrow from a Sinatra song, or which song were you trying to?
Honestly, no. I was borrowing from that band, the Buttertones, which I can't remember if they're in the clear, but I mean, they weren't in trouble when I was liking them. So, but anyway, yes, I was trying to borrow from them. I liked like the whole like old school, kind of like, yeah,
Revival sound.
I think I also knew I was like, I sing like that sometimes. So let me sing like that.
Number two is Be Good. The only thing I put for this one was the drums roll.
Oh, nice. Good. That's me drumming, so that's a nice compliment. Um, yeah, I like that one. It doesn't translate that well live. I think it's because that whole outro really works with like the backwards vocals coming in eventually. But I like that song. I liked it when we recorded it. I liked it when I wrote it. I think I forget it exists, but I think that one's good. Good choice.
Number one, drum roll is No Future.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad people seem to like that one. I didn't think it was like the hit of that record, but it seems like that's the one every now and again when we've like played it at a show, the intro will start and people will like, yeah, that's we like that one. So I feel like that's always a good sign with a song where you're like, good. That's all you can say once you're already playing the song. In your head, just be like, nice, that's a good feeling. Um, it's a good closer. We don't close with it, but it would be a good closer.
So, do you do you recall something that inspired your writing for that one, or like something you remember as you were recording that one?
Yeah, so that one, I think I talked about it a little when it first came out, but that one was the first song I wrote in the pandemic, and I think it was mostly just about feeling like a loser. Wrote it in like the closet of my bedroom that I shared with my girlfriend at the time because I just didn't want anybody to hear me singing. And then, yeah, I just thought it was pretty depressing. I honestly thought I was going to scrap it because I didn't think it was that great. And then I think I showed it to my band and they were like, no, this is great. We should definitely do something with it. And then we recorded it. Which I will say that about having a band, it is good to do things on your own, but you should also just always show demos to your band because I feel like sometimes you'll hate something and then I don't know.
They're open to it.
Yeah, it happened. That song Crush that's on Melting Right Before Your Eyes is the same way of I was like, this is dumb. Who would want to hear somebody word vomit for like 5 minutes? And then they were like, nope, it's good. We want to. And I was like, okay, we can do it.
Well, I'm glad neither of those songs got scrapped. Great songs, bro.
Me too. I Prayed was the same way, actually. Almost all those songs on Melting Right Before Your Eyes. I think just the pandemic had me in like a funk where I think anything I wrote in it, I was just like, fuck this, sucks, not good enough, but then recorded it anyway. So just record your shit that isn't good. And then who knows?
Yeah, but with that being said, is there any last messages or something you'd like to say for someone that's watched this long, has gotten to this part?
Uh, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with you that you would watch this much of it, but it's flattering, I suppose. Hope you learned something. Probably not. Um, that's it. Come see us
Great
on
outro.
tour. We're gonna be on the road in like 3 days. Not for long though, and really not on the road. We're gonna be doing like a 3 hour circle, so probably won't see anybody.
It's still cool that you're gonna get to play live though, and it's mostly like in East Coast area.
Yeah, it's all in the East Coast area. Yeah, we're playing it safe. We don't feel like driving that far right now. Slash, none of us can really afford it. So
Well, if the stars align and you ever make your way back to Austin, man, I'll definitely keep an eye out for it as well as your restocking merch.
yeah, the tapes will come back soon. I know a few people want them.
Sweet. Thank you so much for your time, Alex.
Thank you, man.